Hello, hello, and welcome to the podcast pre-show. So glad to have you here. We are excited to be podcasting about Bridgerton's episode 3, Forces of Nature. Do us a favor if you're watching this either on the replay or live. Hit that share button. Share with friends in Messenger. Share in a text. Share on your wall. Share to your stories. Sharing is caring when it comes to podcasts. So know that we appreciate you. Whether or not you share, just knowing that you're here means a lot to us. We would love for you to tell us where you're tuning in from and who your current favorite character on Bridgerton season 3 is. Your current favorite character.
Oh, you know mine.
Portia.
You always
Is it Portia?
know mine. Ooh.
Right now, I would think it would be Portia.
Oh,
Bennington's
man,
a little
it's
boring.
Bennington.
It's his name from now on.
Yeah, Mary has decided to call Benedict Bennington from now on.
I didn't even mean to do it again that time. That's what's so funny is it
I know.
really has just become his name
That's
in my
his
brain.
name. That's
Yes.
what it is.
Just like Sharma.
Yes, absolutely.
Benedict is so basic in his
Don't
plot
you
lines.
dare besmirch the good
He
name
bores
of
me so
Benedict.
much. He is great. His plot lines suck.
Oh, he's great.
He, the actor, is doing the best with what he's got. All
That's-
right.
I-
All right.
well, you know
Let's
what? I'll
say
give
that
you
into
that.
the show. All right.
Okay.
So we're getting into the show.
Yes.
So happy to have you here. This episode will be up very soon for our patrons at jointhenerdclan.com, and it will be up in the near future, of course, for our friends everywhere around the world.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. All right. Oh, it looks like we have a friend from Ohio, so I'm just going to say it, OH, and then she'll reply IO. That's okay. That's cool. We're in, baby. All right. Let's get into the show. All right, you ready for my brain recently is
it's because you're getting old.
oh man.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Room tone time. You ready for some room tone time?
I sure am.
All right, let's do it.
All the way from Providence, Rhode Island, welcome to Bridgerton with Mary and Blake. It's a podcast dedicated to Bridgerton on Netflix, so sit back, relax, and let's get ready to spill the tea. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. My name is Mary Larson.
My name is Blake, and we were just having a discussion off air about who our favorite character is. And Marvin, you brought up a great choice for me, and it is reminiscent of the choice that Penelope is going to have to make between Colin and Lord Devlin. But you said you thought that my favorite character might have been Portia.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna go with this. I'm still gonna go with Bennington as you've come to call him.
That's a choice. That's a choice right now.
Benedict Bridgerton.
Benedict Bridgerton, in my mind, is now just Bennington. I refer to him as that when we're watching the show.
That's true.
I refer to him. So if you hear me say Bennington, you're like, who is this? I mean Benedict.
And by the way, this is not like a shtick. This is not like a gimmick.
No, this is
It's
honestly
real.
my brain now thinks that's his name.
Yeah,
So.
she will call him Bennington.
And until he actually has more to do with his character, he's going to stay Bennington.
It's just
When his
easier to
plotline
say.
gets more interesting to me,
Yes.
I'm not saying that I don't like the actor. I'm not saying I don't like him as a character. I think he's really fun. I'd love to hang out with him. I find his plot lines and his romance interests and all of his interests boring.
Yeah.
Can't wait to him to have a life.
It's a little
Get a
lacking.
life.
Hey,
Get a life, Bennington.
get a
You're so
life.
basic. I don't even know your name still.
Get a life, hippie.
Get a life. And this is, Blake's favorite. It also helps that your name begins with an B as well. Maybe that's how you feel. Like,
Sure.
oh, yes.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. We want to thank our friends
Yes.
at jointhenerdclan.com. If you are not yet a member there, you can join for as little as $2 a month. Honestly, the jointhenerdclan.com keeps these podcasts free worldwide. We have people who tune in all around the world, and your donations honestly make it happen. It helps us pay for our website fees and our streaming fees and the lights in our house and so much more. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts for our friends who are members there. You have truly made a difference in our podcasting over this decade that we've now been doing it.
Oh my God! Don't. Holy smokes.
Yeah, it's true. And I want to give a little shout out to all of our friends who helped vote. We actually just won the 2024 Best Podcast in Rhode Island. So thank you
Yes.
ever so much if you are someone who was able to vote for us. Your votes counted.
That is now
And
7 years in a row.
7 years in a row.
Holy smokes.
Thank
Can
you,
you imagine that?
Thank you. So you can find the other podcasts that we do. I'm giving this little shout out because, we're not going to have a life for the next couple of months.
Yeah. Oh,
Just saying,
man.
if you enjoy podcasts by Marianne Blake, then
This is
hold
the
on
time
to
for
your
you.
butts. Like, where is Samuel L. Jackson? Do we have that sound? Okay, hold on to your butts because Bridgerton, obviously, we're dropping some new episodes.
Yes.
We've got House of the Dragon coming out. We've got Rings of Power coming out.
Yes.
We will be sprinkling in some Potterverse, which is going to just continue to tread water a little bit for our Potter fans. Know that we love you, but we will be doing more of it, especially because our kids are home over the summer. Oh, yes, and our kids are home over the summer. So, doesn't help that
And
three
then
of the
it's
shows we're
Outlander.
covering. Yeah, 3 of the shows we're covering this summer, not kid friendly. So,
And
wish
all,
us
and
luck.
all starting at once.
Wish us luck.
I don't think it's going to be an interesting June. I will say that June and July.
Thankfully, Rings of Power and House of the Dragon are released weekly. As much as we
Oh,
love binging
yes.
our Bridgerton, being podcasters on a weekly basis, as you've been able to tell, since we take our time with
Yes.
this podcast, is the way that we prefer it for podcasting's sake. All right. That being said, let's jump into this episode.
Okay, let's do it.
It's time for your mini plot recap. Hey, because I know you. I know you already watched all of the episodes and you're like, it's blurred. I watched it all at once in a stupor. I've just kept it on nonstop. Like, where does episode 3 begin and where does episode 3 end? Episode 3 begins with the Queen and Lady Danbury hucking people's faces left and right. Just throw it.
hucking
Throw it.
faces.
My brother's coming. I'm mad. He's flirting with Lady Violet. Okay, so that happens in this episode. Plus, we have Francesca having tons of suitors, but she enjoys having a little solitude outside with some handsome hunk. And then we've got Penelope, okay, the walk of shame. How dare you? She makes her appearance after, the kiss that she had. And Cullen is having hot dreams, baby. And Cressida and Penelope are going after the same guy, Lord Deblin. I don't know about y'all, but I'm Team Deblin. I already asked Blake. I said, Blake, I
Isn't
need
it
a t-shirt.
Deblin?
Whatever. I don't
Sure.
even know his. What I'm closer with his name than
Bennington.
Bennington. Okay, I'm down with him. They get their little dance. Forces of nature. He doesn't eat animals. He's oh my god. He's like a dreamboat to me.
Oh, my
Oh
goodness
god. Okay, and
gracious.
Colin is all about the jealousy. All about it. There is some finger licking good stuff in this episode, and it ends off with Penelope dancing with the nature guy, Lord Deblin. That's
Debling.
yeah. Oh, with a G at the end.
I think so.
I don't know. I've been saying,
right,
yeah,
I'm gonna
whatever.
look it up
His
right
name's
now.
going to be wrong now, too. Listen.
Yeah,
we-
it's Debling, not Deblin.
Listen. We may have just won an award for being award-winning podcasters for the 7th year in a row.
Doesn't mean we're
I do it
professional.
right. Doesn't mean I do it right. And there you go. There's your... Oh, and we learned how babies are made.
I've
And that they grow in your belly.
always kept a nice figure. It's not the weight that makes you get big. It's the baby. Oh, man. All right. Fair enough.
There you go.
Okay.
Take it
cool.
away, Blake.
All right, let's do the details. Titled "Forces of Nature." Okay, yes, Mary, I will change I'll change the camera. Okay, titled "Forces of Nature." It is directed by Andrew Ahn. Now that is a new name to the Bridgerton verse. Andrew has directed episodes of the show Fire Island, also Generations, and the show Pride, and and MacGyver as well. But the re-released version of MacGyver that was only around for just for a little bit.
Basically nothing I've watched, but I'm here for you, Andrew. I'm here for you because I
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah, also directed the movie Driveways. So the
not
writer,
see that
yeah,
either.
no, the writer was Eli Wilson Pelton, who has written episodes of Insecure, as well as With Love And here is a little bit of a tie-in between these two. Also wrote an episode of Generation as well. So the show High Fidelity, the much maligned TV version of High Fidelity, which it High Fidelity the movie is perfection. That's one of those things that you just don't touch. I don't know why someone thought, hey, let's write a High Fidelity TV show with Zoe Kravitz. I just don't get it. I never will. And what are we doing? High Fidelity is perfect. Leave it alone. John Cusack, Jack Black. It's just perfection. No? You're just going to leave me hanging on that one?
Leaving you hanging, man.
Wait, what are you leaving me hanging for?
Listen, I don't know what any of these people have done. A second MacGyver? Didn't even know that happened.
Wait.
Okay? I just blinked out on everything you said because all of it, boring. Like Bennington.
How to tell when the hosts aren't listening.
I don't care. Listen, I admit it fully. This stuff bores me. Okay, all these details, but I appreciate that you and so many of our listeners care and love it. But if you're like the MacGyver remake and Generation and all these other shows I've never seen, good for you guys.
I was saying that High Fidelity, the movie, is perfection.
Yeah, I haven't seen the second one. I don't know.
There's not a second one. It's a TV show.
I don't care. Whatever. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the TV show. I can't give you my...
I'm not asking you to see it. I'm asking why do we even have it be...
I don't know. Sometimes things that are remade are better. You just messed up the camera with your hitting. Look at you. You're a mess. You're a disaster. Okay, it's time for some cups of tea ratings. We're going to rate this episode, episode 3, Forces of Nature, on a scale of 1 to 5. Friends who are joining live, how would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 5? Let us know in the comments. Plus, let us know your GBGs, your goods, your bads, and your greats. I'm going to give this episode another 4.9.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Which was last episode. I wish I could give it a 5, but can't. And that's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, sure. Fair enough. All right. For me, I have 4.4 written down here. But now that I think about it.
But now that you think about Portia and you think about Bennington with his little looks that I pointed out to you.
No, that's true. But there's something in here that just...
And Francesca and her uniqueness?
No, there's something in here that just really, really gets me down about this episode.
Is it when the queen says, thought it'd be bigger?
No. I just can relate to that a little. It's a little too closely.
That's what she said.
So I'm just going to pretend that line was never said. So because of that, because of something else that happens in this episode that just really just gets me boiling.
All right, so it's what?
It's 4.35.
Oh, okay, sorry.
4.35.
Siskel and Ebert over
well,
here.
listen.
All right, give me your GBGs.
Important.
Explain yourself.
No, your GBG.
I don't need to go first. You need to go first and explain yourself why for some reason in the Google Doc it says 4.4, yet now it has to be 4.35.
Yeah.
What in the world? GBGs, your goods,
right,
your bads, your greats.
So I'm going to do the thing that you absolutely love. I got a tie. My good. Let's see. Hold on. Where are we here? All right. My good is a tie. First, knowing the proper setting for the right conversation, and that is what that is the conversation between Penelope and Colin at the beginning of the episode under the tree.
The willow.
The willow tree. Fantastic setting choice. I love when shows are able to find unique settings like this for unique conversations, because it provides them enough privacy, but it gives us enough of a visual dynamic, and it can tell us the story of what they're trying to do outside of them having to say, "Oh, we need to be hidden somewhere," and it allows cover for it. But it's also very pretty, and the camera movement moving directly right into the coverage of the tree, not like showing the tree and then like doing what kind of like Outlander does all the time, showing like a thing, and then instead of traveling in the thing, they show it like an establishing shot, and then they cut to in it, or they cut to it as opposed to traveling to it. And it's just another creative way to tell this story. But my other good is Cressida. Oh my God, Cressida is quickly becoming one of my other favorite characters. But first of all, the outfits. The outfits are to die for. The things on her shoulders are so beyond ridiculous.
I just love that you love Cressida so much because she's the Draco Malfoy and he's like you.
I know, it's true.
So,
it's true. It's true.
For our Harry Potter friends.
It's true. I will say
You're a wizard, Harry.
I will say that Cressida's outfits are phenomenal. Like she could wear toilet paper rolls and I would be happy about it.
Awesome.
And then also the corset around her neck.
Mm-hmm.
Forget about it. Holy smokes. I saw that and I got a little steamy. I got a little steamy. Like the way you feel about Lord Debling, I feel that way about Cressida right now. So that's that.
Good for you.
My bad.
Love that for you.
I have
You
I have-
love that phrase.
I love that.
What
for
is
you.
it from again?
That was from Love Is Blind with the lady.
The classy show
Yeah.
of Love Is Blind. But friends, this is such a great thing to say when someone's like talking about something that you really don't care about.
Yeah, or that you just don't like, but they
Yeah.
do. I love that.
I love
for
that
you.
for you. Because it's gonna take them a moment to understand what you're saying.
Right, exactly. Like it's like an underhanded compliment.
Yeah.
A backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
All right. My bad. Also a tie. The entire balloon scene was so bad.
What do you mean the entire balloon
The
scene?
entire balloon
That entire
scene.
thing took. Wait, the balloon running away scene?
Yeah,
or do you
yeah,
mean
yeah.
anything to do with the balloon
No,
whatsoever?
no, not everything.
Okay.
Not
Okay.
everything, but
the rogue
but
balloon.
a couple of things orbiting the balloon scene. But yes, the rogue balloon scene was so bad. The only thing I could think of the entire time, because it was shot so poorly and it was directed so poorly, was Austin Powers, the guy with the concrete roller. No, and Austin Powers is like, just move away. It's fine. It's the balloon was moving so slowly and so far away from Penelope. All she had to do was just roll over. Like,
Or they could have made a rope tangle her leg. Like
Yeah,
there were plenty of ropes flying around.
it could have been literally anything. Anything. It would have made it better.
Or like maybe they're still talking and they don't know, and her back is to it. That's how it's blocked. It just
Yeah.
needed to happen a lot quicker.
Something, anything should have happened. Maybe like Cressida sees that rope that she says hit her leg, but she avoids it, and that's the thing that gets Penelope.
Yes.
Like it could have been anything.
And mind you, like the whole internet, the whole world agrees with this. And
it was
and
so bad.
the actress who plays Penelope, she said that in the world of Bridgerton, horniness is trumps, saving your life.
I don't know.
So she was too busy, looking at Colin's bulging biceps.
Yeah, but even after he let go, and it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Well, yeah. I'll
So
touch on
bad.
that. Okay.
And then also the
Oh,
editing
there's more
scene,
bad.
the editing with the scene with the conversation where they're talking about the grass and the birds and everything and all, and
You were confused about the timing
the
of it.
timing of it and where and when you are in that perspective. It just didn't make sense. The
Yeah.
editing was very poor. I felt like this
Because
entire
we went
scene.
into we went
Went
to
to Bennington.
Bennington. We went to his conversation about the balloon, and then we came back out, and you were like, "They're still talking about the bird
Yeah, and it's
or the
like
grass."
it was just like they had this conversation and they just cut it in half, and then they went to another scene where ostensibly time is still moving forward, and they cut back and it's like still the same conversation. But not only that, the editing with all the action and the balloon scenes and the all of it was just
What was
so
your
poorly
great?
edited. My great, also a tie. We're finally starting to get some Queen Charlotte vibes, and
tell
by
me more.
that I mean from the other Bridgerton story, the Queen Charlotte story.
We
We're
know, Blake.
Okay, well,
We know.
some people may not. And I'm getting some vibes finally, and that is the scene of them throwing the cards. and
Of she and Lady Danbury.
she and
Okay,
Lady
so you're
Danbury.
talking about how you want their friendship expanded a bit more in the
Yes.
Bridgerton series, since we got to
but
know
like
them as friends.
what I saw in Queen Charlotte is what I'm seeing in that character in Bridgerton for like the first time.
Okay.
Right? We got that a little bit last episode, but this interaction.
You're seeing a bit more of the humanized version of
yes.
Queen Charlotte.
And by that I mean like the friendship that between them. When Queen Charlotte's throwing the cards.
Throw it like you mean it.
And she says, "You must throw it like you mean it." And Lady Danbury's response, "I'm sorry. We have all these things going on." And then the Queen says, "Do you want me to banish this person from the kingdom?" No, don't worry. Like that it's a real interaction.
Yeah.
That's something that two friends of that caliber and that nature absolutely would say, right? And the other part of my great is letting the camera do the storytelling for the show, and in particular for Colin, whether it was waking up after his dream and the background was all blurred out and all you could see was just him, and there's like this out of focus feel. It felt like you woke up with him. And then at the same time, at the end, when Penelope is dancing with Lord Debling and Colin was busy talking to all the other ladies, he sees this happening and the camera goes right up to his face and it starts to become like a handheld camera. You get shaky cam, canted angles. The camera immediately tells you something is way off. And I like that they can do that visually with the camera and the camera movement and how that all goes. What?
You don't hear that booming in our house?
I do. Oh, it's probably the shark.
I don't think it's supposed to be going right now.
All right, let me go
and
upstairs.
the dog's right here. You
All right.
hear it, right?
Well, the dog.
It's
would.
not the dog.
I know, but I'm saying the dog would. freak
Okay,
out if it was
I don't
somebody
know.
else. Why don't you
Go. Okay. But you hear it's like a boom, boom. Yeah, no, there's something going on. Hopefully, it's just our electronic vacuum cleaner. Does that ever happen to you guys? I swear to God, things like this happen. Maybe it's someone banging. It might also be our neighbors. We live in a city, so it could just be our neighbors doing something really loud, and it sounds like it's on our house. But nonetheless, I'm gonna let Blake go figure that out. It probably is the robot cleaner. It's probably stuck on something, but still, it was very scary. Let's see. I haven't heard Blake scream. So we're good. He's coming back downstairs. Okay. Not a burglar. Nothing to be afraid of. He's coming down. And the winner of what it was, drum roll, we've got our money on the electronic vacuum.
We're okay.
We're okay. We're okay.
Everything is fine.
What was it?
It was our neighbor is
Our neighbor.
installing a pool, an above ground pool, and he is stomping the ground.
With
He's tamping
what?
it down with like a tamper.
That is very loud.
Well, yeah, he's doing it pretty hard.
He must be very strong. He could have pulled the balloon.
Yes, he absolutely should have, could have. Oh my goodness gracious! So we're okay. There's nothing serious afoot here, Mary. All right, you're GBG. You're good. You're bad. And you're great.
Okay, so my good in this episode was the sweets tent, and just Penn's little way of like nodding Cullen over, and he meets her in there. Come, let's look like we're both just looking for sweets. Come on, Penelope. Like,
Yeah.
you guys are alone all the time. People are going to know what you're up to.
Yeah.
So they're in there, and the whole thing with her getting the little sweetie and then eating it and him looking at her licking his lips or licking her lips, that is an ode back to
Season one with the
season
spoon.
1 Simon with the ice cream spoon, and everyone's like, oh my God, I wish I was that spoon. That's what this is supposed to be. It's just
Yes.
harkening back to that. And then what's lovely is that Cullen buys the same sweet,
Yeah.
and you see him licking his fingers in the
Yes.
same kind of way later on in the episode. And I just thought that was really cool and cute. My bad is Cressida. You're good.
Don't you dare
You're
besmirch the
great.
good
yeah,
name
you're
of
good
Cressida.
with Cressida. Yeah, no, I just put Cressida WTF.
She might be like
stop
my pansy
it.
Parkinson.
Just yes,
She
she's
is.
just so annoying. And what are you doing? And like, I just can't stand her. I know that she probably has we're like learning like, oh no, daddy's going to make us wear our same dress. Who cares? I can't stand you. Get out of here. But actually my real bad is the balloon owner, Mr. Hawkins.
Yeah, that guy.
There is this whole hubbub. The balloon is set loose, about to hit Penelope, who should have gotten out of the way, but still about to hit Penelope. Everyone's up. The
10
queen
minutes
even gets up.
later.
Oh my God. And there's Colin and these other guys who are not Mr. Hawkins' hired people, okay? And he just jumps in the balloon. Let it go, guys.
Hey, all right, see you later.
Doesn't say, I'm sorry. Doesn't say that shouldn't have happened. I hope you all signed insurance waivers. Doesn't say, is Penelope okay? No one goes to check on her. He's just like, right, let it go. And off he goes, like the bloody Wizard of Oz. Get
see
out
you
of
later.
here.
Hey, all right, bye, guys.
My great is Lord
Isn't
Debling.
my balloon great?
I love this gentleman. I love Lord Debling. Love, 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 love.
Why?
Okay, first off, he doesn't read Lady Whistledown. He's here to make his own assumptions about life. He does not fit in with the crowd, and he's okay with that. He's very confident with himself. He knows what he wants in a woman. He wants his partner to have her own passions. Like, oh my God, he doesn't want some cookie cutter kind of person. He's okay with Penelope saying, I made this mistake, and he applauds her for it, gives her the lemonade.
Oh, man.
Yes.
You know what I have to say to that?
Okay.
It's
No,
this.
It's the opposite. Oh, it's an outstanding fit, right? Like, here you go. Oh, you're going to be honest? You like to read books?
I love that choice of
Yep. This
just-
lemonade. And he says, like this, I'm giving this lemonade to Cressida. Sorry.
yes. No, it's okay. I just love that choice. That a very visual choice again of like, oh, I was getting this lemonade for Cressida. Never mind, I'm giving it to you now.
And
like,
his
awesome.
baseball slide, when he does go to rescue her,
All right, calm down with
okay,
that.
he runs on in. It is like, I was like, did you just make a 4? Did you just baseball slide? Love it. He just got a little spooning. I love it. No one has a little hubbub that he probably touched a little boob or something, okay?
Yeah, no,
He
I doubt
just
it.
slides on in. Didn't really shield her well. I'm not going to lie. Would agree with both of them. But I was ready for him to like karate kick that balloon.
Sure, do something about
Yes.
it. Yes.
Unlike everyone else. Love him. Telling you, the newest shirt in the Marion Blake store is going to be Team Deblin.
Deblin.
Gah.
Gah. It's gonna be that. Team Deblin.
I feel
Gah.
like in Wicked when they're singing popular or like popular.
Wait,
lar.
what are they saying?
No, don't you know?
No, I do know.
Okay. Popular.
Oh man.
So that's our GBGs.
Yes, okay. The music used, Marvin. You ready to get into that?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. I gotta bring the link up here. Hold on one second.
My
Nope.
name's Abigail.
Oh, not that. Not that, Blake. Something happened. I don't know what just happened. Okay, well, you know what? We have a you can't just run away like that. We got a show. Oh my God. It's okay. It's okay. All right, you ready? Okay, here we go. This is Cheap Thrills.
I just gotta say, friends, we have
What?
a cat that's getting a little elder.
Yes.
She's beginning to pee in different things, and she just peed on, I think, my kid's clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Seinfeld. Newman!
Lumos! Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. We're gonna I'm gonna take care of it, but we got a show to do. All right. This is Cheap Thrills by is it Sia or Sia?
I always thought it
I
was
feel
Sia.
old. I feel so old
She
right
sings
now.
the Snowman song that I love.
Sure, great. And it is performed by Vitamin String Quartet. This happens during as the guests are arriving to the Innovations Ball.
Do you know this song?
No, not at all.
You don't?
I don't.
It goes like, come on, to the radio on. It's Friday night,
Oh, wait,
and
yes,
I
okay, I
won't
do know
be
this song.
long.
Yeah.
Gotta do my hair, put my makeup on. It's Friday night, and I won't be long till I hit the dance floor. Are you playing the music?
I'm playing it.
Hit the dance floor. I got all I need. No, I ain't got cash. I ain't got cash. But I got you, baby. Baby, I don't need dollar bills to have fun tonight. I love cheap thrills. Baby, I don't need dollar bills to have fun tonight. I love cheap thrills. I don't need no money as long as I can feel the beat. I don't need no money as long as I keep dancing. That is right.
Very nice. All right. So that is that. And then the next song is, what's it called? It is
It's Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish, Happier Than Ever. Let me bring that link up right now. And it is this. Also, performed by Vitamin String Quartet. And this happens during the dance scene with Lord Debling. Marvin, could you please read us the lyrics to this song?
I really love this lyric choice, and I gotta say, Blake, when we were watching this, was saying, "Oh, they should have played Jealous by Nick Jonas here," and I said, "No, because I almost found that more distracting."
Sure.
And here, we get to be with Penelope. The Jealous song was about Colin. This is about Penelope. So here are the lyrics to Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish. When I'm away from you, I'm happier than ever. Wish I could explain it better. I wish it wasn't true. Give me a day or two to think of something clever, to write myself a letter, to tell me what to do. Do you read my interviews, or do you skip my avenue? When you said you were passing through, was I even on your way? I knew when I asked you to be cool about what I was telling you, you'd do the opposite of what you said you'd do, and I'd end up more afraid. Don't say it isn't fair. You clearly weren't aware that you made me miserable. So if you really want to know, when I'm away from you, I'm happier than ever. Wish I could explain it better. I wish it wasn't true. Call me again, drunk in your Benz, driving home under the influence. You scared me to death, and I'm wasting my breath because you only listen to your effing friends. I don't relate to you. I don't relate to you now because I'd never. Oh, this is more bad words, but you made me hate this place. Oh, yeah, she keeps swearing a lot. But
Yeah,
anyway,
sure.
Like, I'm happier than ever because I'm not with you.
Right. Interesting.
And you did talk about me to your friends, and you were crappy. And I have just been your friend, and I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who
Well,
could be
let's talk
courted.
about this a little bit.
But I'm happy. Like, I love the word happier than ever. Like, here she is. She's just like, this. I'm real. I'm free.
Well, no, I'm saying we'll keep going with the music because you're talking about it. So
Yeah. No, I loved this choice. I think it was really good.
Is Penelope really though happier without Colin though? That's the
No,
that's the
in
question.
this moment. Is she doing it again?
Marvin, come on, we got a show today.
Okay, I'm going. In this moment, I think she is happier than ever. This is the first time that she's really been asked to dance by someone else. This is also the most eligible bachelor of the season. And he sees Penelope for who she is, and he appreciates that about her. This is the first time that a gentleman has really said this to her without having bad stuff. I love this. I do think that this is going to be one of the happiest moments of her
Right,
life.
especially coming off the scene where the other two guys were like, "Oh, are you here to
Exactly.
yeah,
Find a
good
new
luck
prospect.
good
and
luck in
yes.
both of those ventures," and they
Yes.
laugh at her.
Yes.
I
I do think that this is probably like truly one of her happiest moments of her life.
all right, fair enough. All right, awesome. All right, so that is the music choices.
Just don't
that
tell
we're-
Colin that in the future.
Oh, yeah, Colin. Listen, what I was saying about the jealous thing is if jealous were to be used at that point, that would have made more sense than where it was used in the second episode. Because by that point, the kiss has happened. By that point, the dream has happened. By that point, they had the awkward conversations. Like, it makes sense now for Penelope to kind of move on with her life while Colin is now moving into that arena where Penelope once was, right? It would have made more sense, but it's neither here nor there for now because I'm not here to write a better show. I'm here to talk about what actually happened. So, Marvin, what else stood out to you in this episode? Where do you think you
I even
like
just
to
love
begin?
the opening dream sequence with all of the fires burning and the smoky, misty thing coming out from behind them. It just kind of gave me the "I burned for you" callback. Just with all the fire to me.
Yeah, sure.
I just loved it, all the burning, and it's such an iconic phrase. So between that and the licking of the lips, to me, it's staying in the Bridgerton verse. It's staying in that really thickly romantic
Yeah.
feeling that I love.
It really gave you a sense of like almost immediately you could tell that it was a dream. Right?
I didn't. I actually watched it and I thought, did I skip an episode or am I halfway through an episode? You know, sometimes
Sure.
Netflix does that. Like it'll keep doing the
Yeah, it'll
show
keep
for
going,
you
yeah.
and you don't know. So I thought I was in the middle of an episode and I was like,
Fair.
what the heck? What did I miss? What? They're making out? Pen looks like she knows what she's doing?
Yes.
Nice. No. And then Colin wakes up and
Colin's dream.
okay. Let's get into your fave person, though, because Colin wakes up late, goes down to
Yes.
the Bridgerton.
Are you all right?
I told you we watched. I don't.
Yes.
How many times would you say we watched Bennington's reaction?
At least 5 or 6 times.
So, friends, those of you who are going to do a little bit of a rewatch of episode 3, when Colin comes down to have some tea, Bennington says, "Oh, you slept in late," and he says, "Oh,
Bennington.
no sooner did my head hit the pillow." Blah 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 blah. Hyacinth is talking because we have Lady Violet, Lady Bridgerton talking with Francesca. Tell me what the Queen said again. And Hyacinth comes over and says, "You know, brother, I just wanted to tell you, I think what you did for Penelope was lovely. You're a really good friend." And Colin's like, "Oh yeah, friend." And if you watch Bennington's reaction, Benedict reaction, you see him do this little like quirky thing, and I think he's starting to figure it out. The little
Yeah, there's a
Like-
there's a little bit of a like a face. Like
Yeah,
I know you
little
you definitely
quizzical.
don't know what's happening if you're listening to this.
yeah.
But it's definitely a quizzical look.
And I just need to give major props to Hyacinth. I am loving this young lady. I cannot wait. Let's cross our fingers and hope that we get to have Bridgerton for all of these characters because she is so spot on. She is just ready. She's saying, "Oh, okay, you know, oh, am I? All of these women could be eligible as the diamond of the season? No, not you. They have to be the ones in society. Okay." And she goes over what you did was you were very kind, and I think that was a lovely thing. Like this girl is just on it. She's very observing. She knows what's going on. Props to Hyacinth.
That girl.
I know that people may find her annoying.
I don't find her annoying at all. I could see if you found her annoying in the first couple of seasons within like even though you saw very little of her. But I think this season she's been good.
I think she's been good all the time. It's
Yeah.
just I think she's really in tune with society and with reading people well. I'm a fan.
Yeah, sure.
We get to the Queen flicking her cards.
Oh, it's such like I said, it's such a great scene just between two friends. And Mary, you said something when we were watching it, like for the 5th time. And you're like, somebody actually drew those.
Yeah, because it's little cards. So you think about it in this day and age. I think they said in this episode's 1815. I highly doubt there's a printing press carved out with all of the eligible bachelors' faces on it to be
Sure.
sent to the ton. I mean, I doubt that that's what's happened. So probably Queen Charlotte, being Queen Charlotte, the extra woman that she is, said, someone do sketches of all the eligible bachelors. I need to look at them. You know that she did, just
Of
like
course
they
she
did when
did.
they were trying to figure out Lady Whistledown. Like
Yes.
she's got her little things. Someone sat down and drew all these guys.
And she's just flicking them.
Throwing them.
See you later.
Goodbye.
You're out. Goodbye.
She probably has someone just hired for that. What's my job? Go and scoop out these people.
Yeah.
You know, like the people in New York City in Central Park who
Mhm.
just draw people's faces.
Yes, absolutely.
She's like, just go pretend to be one of the commoners.
right.
And sketch them.
Draw their face. You know this.
Go to the market.
I wonder if that's still a job, right? Like the guy that is in control of the swans, like we learned in The Crown,
Yeah.
is the face drawing guy
Yeah.
still employed by the Crown?
So, what I also liked is in this scene, Violet Bridgerton's dress. It looks odd at first when she's walking to Francesca.
in the Bridgerton house.
Bridgerton. Sorry, we're back at the Bridgertons. It's light blue. It's regular Bridgerton shade, but then there's this kind of smattering of magenta-ish, deepish purple.
It looks like
pink.
a wine spill.
Yeah, it looks like a wine spill over half of her dress, but then she turns around, you see it's actually this beautiful pattern, which was really neat because when we go to the Featheringtons' house and Penelope comes down the stairs to go see Eloise, Penelope is wearing a dress in the same exact shade. Very different pattern, but
Sure.
I thought that that's really neat. She continues to get into more Bridgerton-esque colors, and in this, she clearly mimics the same exact color palette that Violet was wearing, and I thought that was really neat.
Yes, absolutely.
We're, of course, learning about babies and bellies, and all of that awkwardness.
They've always kept a nice figure.
What if Penelope has the first son?
No, because it looks like, she
But
actually
they could have girls.
Yeah, they could have girls. That's right. They could
Yeah.
have girls.
What if Penelope's son becomes the heir to the Featherington
Oh, God,
fortune?
that would be great.
Scribbling prediction. I'm calling it.
Oh, I love that. Great call, Mary. Great call.
But we get the awkward interaction with Eloise and Penelope that I would love for you to delve into a bit. You're not ready for it? You want to talk about babies and storks?
No. I like the interaction because it allows both of them to kind of acknowledge the fact that they still want to be friends, right? Like they still want to figure it out. It's that
Caitlin Marie says it was a thing in Regency times that to have playing cards with men and women had them. But was it real people? Was it the real people? Okay.
No. So like what I was saying, I think they still want to be friends. It's almost like, when you have a loved one, like when you have a spouse and you have an argument, and at this point of the argument, it's kind of over. Everything's done. You've said all you've needed to say, and you realize, oh man, that was not worth my time, and that was not worth our time as a couple. And you want to approach the person that you love and say, I love you. What are we doing? But you don't know what to do, and you don't know what to say, so you just kind of go, and it's awkward, and eventually gets figured out. But like, there's that moment in time where it's just kind of like, pass me the mayonnaise, please. Like, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
That's what it's like.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. What?
I'm just laughing.
What? What are you laughing about?
You. Okay. They sounded so tearful.
Yeah.
And then Penelope says, you want to come up and read some books? I got some new books. And Eloise says, no, I'm meeting a friend.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
There's
cut my heart out.
There's a lot of great subtext in this episode. Whether it's that, right? The subtext here is she's going to see Cressida.
And you're not my friend.
Right.
I'm going to see a friend of which you are not. And then also when she leaves, she says, whatever, I wish for you happiness, whatever that may be. I hope you get what you're looking for this season. And Penelope has such a complex look on her face at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad, but it's also a little bit of relief and happiness. And I feel when I saw that in Penelope's face saying, wow, like we at least talked, and she still wishes me happiness, and this might be a little step forward. I don't know. Did you see it fully sad, or did you see hope in it? Was it just my heart wishing that there's hope?
Well, it's certainly sad, right? I would say that it's bittersweet.
Yes.
It's bittersweet because I know that they're going to be friends again, right? It's going to be a thing. It's going to have to happen because we know that Colin and Penelope are going to get together. It's just going to happen. It's a question of when does it happen, how does it happen, and why does it happen? So it's sweet knowing that these two are, I think this is the beginning of that road, but it's bitter because you can see that she even says, like, I wouldn't be upset even if you did say the thing about Whistledown on purpose, or Colin or whatever. Like, I wouldn't have been upset. It's fine. And even Eloise is saying, like, yeah, it sucks when Whistledown writes about you, huh? I think she was a little harsh, right? It's both of them reaching out, and it's both of them looking for comfort in a kind of way, but being unable to give it, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of subtext here in this scene, and there's also some great subtext between Colin and his mother when Colin sees Penelope dancing with Lord Deblin, right? She absolutely knows what's going on.
Yeah, when he asks her, what is it that you're wishing for Francesca to find in her?
Right. And it talks about how, how his father asked, her, Lady Bridgerton to go out together, and how do you know it was reciprocated, the feeling of friendship and friends and whatever? And she says, because he gathered the courage to ask. So Colin then goes back to Francesca and says that, he hopes that she would be brave enough to ask the question of.
He doesn't say that to Francesca. He says it to all these gaggle of girls that are with him, and they said, "How are you so brave to stop the balloon?"
Yeah,
and
no,
that's when
no,
he says it.
No, he's talking to Violet about this, and they're talking about Francesca in quotes.
Yeah,
And
but then when he talks
says
about his own courage,
he goes back to Francesca, to his mother.
Oh.
And they're talking about Francesca and how she's finding somebody, and he says to his mother that he hopes that she would be brave enough to ask the question of herself.
Yes.
And then Violet says back to her, "I hope she is as well." And the subtext here in all of this is that it's not about Francesca.
Mm-hmm.
Violet certainly knows what's happening with Colin, and because as he's talking to her, he's looking at Penelope.
Yes.
She knows the deal. Are you buying this, Mary?
100%.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, is Violet Bridgerton pumped? She sees who he's talking about. She's been so focused on Fran that she really hasn't been giving Colin, this extra TLC right now, because she didn't know that this is something he was interested in. He came back as a pirate, Indiana Jones, and just thought, giddy up, like, go have fun flirting. Don't have to worry about you. And now she's realizing, oh, he does want to talk about these things. And of course, he is sensitive and thoughtful. And when she turns and she sees he's staring at Penelope, her smile is like, oh my God.
Yeah.
We already dress the same. We're besties.
Right.
I love her wit. She's pumped. She approves.
And one of the, when you're writing well and you're writing characters well, you're having them say things that people would normally say, but the meaning of what they're saying is right under the surface, right? The meaning that the subtext of the Lady Danbury and Queen conversation is right there. It's this notion of their friendship and how relaxed they are with each other. And the same thing here happens with Violet and Colin. That subtext that's right under the surface is, I know what you're talking about. And they're able to maneuver that conversation in a way that doesn't outwardly say, oh, I like Penelope. Because you wouldn't do that in real life with your mother at that moment.
No.
You would either hide it or you would try to circumvent the direct line.
Well, and also remember, it's really been a week where all of these feelings are now really coming to
Right.
him now that he's had the kiss, and he's like, no, I do love her. It's not even just a little jealousy. Why am I feeling this? Like, I love this woman. And we see that so well when they're under that willow and she says, if I get a proposal this season, it's all thanks to you. And he's like, oh gosh, yes. Or when he's talking with Eloise and Eloise says, hey, by the way, I talked to Penelope. He turns abruptly. What did she say about me?
Yeah, right. And then he's like, and she says, "Oh yeah, I talked to her about this thing."
I just apologized.
And he's like, "Yeah, okay, great, thanks," and then just walks away.
Because really, that's all of us. Like, oh my gosh, you spoke to the person that I liked. What did they say?
Right.
Oh, okay. You're just never mind. You don't
got
know what I'm
nothing
talking
for
about.
me.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of Eloise, I do want to bring up Cressida again. Yes, her amazing outfits, but really, what it comes down to for me is, I think something that we asked in the first episode, Mary, is this: are they making Cressida? Are they setting her up rather for this? I don't want to say like come back as a good character kind of moment, but are they setting her up to like someone that you can like be happy to root for, like a redemption, not a redemption, but like you can get behind this character and say, yes, I like this person.
I think that there is going to be a certain demographic of people who will feel that way, particularly Slytherins.
Yes.
Okay. There are other people, Gryffindors, who will see her for who she is, and no, we will never trust her. Yes. Oh no, daddy's going to take away your dresses. Oh no, you're an only child and you have to like secure your family and whatever. Like,
yeah, but there's more to it than that. Like,
okay, like your mom sucks, your dad sucks. I
Right.
get it.
you don't have the support of your family. and
Okay,
if
I
you
live
don't,
that every day.
if you
with
don't get a
my
husband,
husband. My husband has that, okay?
that's true. That's true.
I get it. Doesn't mean you need to be mean. Okay, you're grown up now. Be nice.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. Dorinda.
She's smart. Like she's a lot smarter than she comes off. And I think that Eloise often brings that out to her.
Yes.
And yet then she's like, "Oh, an adorable little bird." And what are we doing?
she says,
Just
"I
find
like
yourself.
animals. I love a good fur."
Yes. I love the foil of she and Eloise together.
Oh, it's such a great pairing.
And even when Eloise is standing there, as it's the four people talking of Debling and Penelope and Eloise and Cressida, and, there's Cressida going, "Oh, yes, the birds, it's so sad they're endangered and they mate for life." And Eloise is doing this little look like, "Oh, my God, is
Right.
this really happening?" Because Pen looks at her like, "What the heck?
yeah.
When did Cressida Big Shoulders, care about anything?"
Big shoulders. Dorinda here on Facebook is saying it seems like they are softening her.
I think that they are softening her for some people.
Yep.
I think that they are expanding her character, which I think is brilliant. I think they do such so many of the characters in this show, it's just like, oh, they're sweet and they're lovely and there's really no faults to them. This season is about faults.
Sure.
And I love that. I love that Colin messed up. I love that our two big characters really messed up big.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I love that Eloise is messed up. So everyone's messing up. And I love that. Doesn't mean I need to love Cressida because she messes up,
Sure.
because she has tough things. No, doesn't mean I need to love you.
Does the softening of Cressida, whether you agree with it or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does the softening make it a better show? Like, does it make her a better character? Let's put it that way.
For some people, yes.
Yeah, okay.
I gotta tell you, I think she's mean to Penelope. I think she has continued to be mean to Penelope, and that just doesn't fly with me. Sorry, it's my Gryffindor.
The funny thing is, Mary, I think at the same time...
She didn't come over and say, "Penelope, are you okay? You almost crushed slow motion."
I think they're clearly setting Cressida up to be the antagonist to Penelope's protagonist. And they've done that very specifically by pitting them against each other to go for Lord Debling. But here's what I'm going to tell you, Mary. The classic antagonist versus protagonist relationship is defined by how similar they are, right? They're mirrors for each other, generally. They're often going after the same thing,
Which they are.
and it's the difference that sets the protagonist apart from the antagonist and vice versa is just the means by which they go after the same thing, right? Like the classic example is the Batman and Joker, right? They want the same thing. It's just, well, like, how do we get
They
there?
both want freedom. They both want freedom from their families. Neither
Yep.
of them feels loved or appreciated by their family. They both want to be seen. What's interesting to me, I think would be a bit better of a foil, is if Cressida was more sought after. You kind of get that air from her in season 1 that she is kind of the hot ticket. And
But I kind of like the fact that she's not.
yeah.
Because I think it sets her up better to be Penelope's specific antagonist, at
But
least in this situation.
She's been on the marriage market just as long as Penelope. And
Exactly.
yet Penelope feels like she's some kind of spinster, and nobody says it except Cressida's mom. So it doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't feel the same.
Well, I think again though, Mary, there's a subtext
Yeah.
there, right? Because everybody looks at Penelope as a spinster for being on the market for so long and not having a husband. Implicit in that is that everybody is now looking at Cressida like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the fact that the mother even says it out loud the way that she does, yeah, granted, not the best person on the planet, but it's still there. It's still the truth. The show is setting up this rule for itself that if you don't have a bride or, especially for a woman, if you don't have a husband by year 3, you're a spinster. regardless of whether or not we agree with it, or regardless of whether or not history has proves that correct, the show itself is saying 3 years spinster.
Mm-hmm.
So having it's like this. There's always that moment between an antagonist and a protagonist that says, "We're not so different, you and I." There's always that moment in every one of those kind of movies. And I'm kind of getting that moment between those two. Are you buying that?
Yeah.
I mean, the families don't like them.
Yeah.
They've been unsuccessful in trying to get a husband. They're going after Lord Debling together at the same time. They both want freedom. They want to be out from under the thumb of their family. It's pretty classic stuff. I don't know. So, I don't know. It's just, it is what it is.
Also, speaking of pretty classic, the hot air balloon situation was a really big deal in the Regency era. So it's pretty interesting that they made this such a big deal scenery-wise and kind of plot-wise in this episode. People dressed with balloons. There were like a lot of circles. Even the queen's hair was so whimsical and kind of like flopsy. You got to see the whole tent that Bennington goes into and to learn about it and the innovation and Lady Tilly Arnold, the lady that she meets and he gets to dance with. She's even talking about what a big deal Hawkins balloon is because of the scientific stuff. And the gentleman, I feel like it's Lord Remington, but I'm not quite certain. The gentleman in the wheelchair is giving the balloon guy a hard time. Like,
yeah.
Only 2 hours.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting. I started to read up about it a little bit. I need to read up on it even more because I just didn't understand. We're so used to hot air balloons having that big flame emit and everything, and I didn't see that in this balloon. So I'm going to do a little bit more research. But as I was looking into it, I got to see that this was a really big deal.
Sure.
So,
Caitlin here on Facebook says Cressida is an outward bully. Penelope is Lady Whistledown. And she's just a bully in secret.
Love it.
I love that too. Again, it's just it's the same thing, right? It's they're two sides of the same coin. Here's a question, Mary. Do you think that actually Cressida and Penelope could be good friends? Like they actually could be like pals. Just because Cressida has chosen one path doesn't mean that Penelope couldn't choose that path either.
I mean,
it just so happens that she hasn't. I mean, outwardly at least, right? She has done it in terms of Lady Whistledown.
I don't know, because Eloise is able to be friends with her. So because she's able to be friends with Eloise, part of me says maybe, but I don't think so. I don't think Pen would ever forgive Cressida for how mean she's been to her over the years.
Yep. So there's a lot that happens at this Innovations Ball. I mean, we are introduced to 3 new potential relationships. Violet with getting the greatest comeback ever. She's told we've met the gardener of her garden, of her blooming garden. And it's Lady Danbury's brother.
For those of you who missed Queen Charlotte, you've got to go and watch it because what happens in there is so important to know. Like, it's so complex.
Do we want to just talk about
Lady
it?
Danbury was with Violet's dad in an affair.
Yeah.
And now and you're supposed to understand at the end of the series. I never talked about it, but you're supposed to infer that
because of the hats.
She knows.
Yeah, she knows.
Because of the birthday hats.
Yeah.
So now she's meeting Lady Danbury's brother. Kind of has hots for him before she even knows that it's her brother. But then that happens. And now, will Lady Violet do it to get back at Lady Danbury? Will Lady Violet do it, meaning him, to just just because?
God needs a little tending.
Will there be a conversation where Lady Danbury says, "Don't go after my brother," and Lady Violet says, "You shouldn't have gone after my dad"?
That would be some good connective tissue to the Queen Charlotte
But it
series.
wasn't in the Bridgerton show, so it's hard. But anyway, it's complicated. This family, they need some more people in this ton, okay?
Yeah. And then we also have the Lady Tilly for Bennington. There seems to be some spark of a connection there.
Such a cool thing. If you didn't notice this in the dance.
Yes. Thank you, Mary, for calling this out.
Lady Arnold, Tilly, whatever.
Yeah.
Dances with him and spins him around. So she ends up taking the male dance part of it, and he takes the female dance part of it. So when you watch the scene she's lined up with all the guys, and she alters the dance moves a little bit so she doesn't spin Bennington, for example. They just do different moves, but it's very sensual, and it's very much showing her like, I am my own woman, but I like you, and let's keep doing this. And he's into it.
Yep, he's totally into it. He's into the weird things.
Yes, he is.
You know what? I'm not gonna yuck another man's yum. I'm just not gonna do it. He's into it. No problem. And then we also potentially have a new relationship between, what's her name? What's her freaking name?
I don't know who you're talking
The other
about,
sister.
Blake.
The other sister.
Eloise?
Francesca.
Okay.
And the Marquis of Vienna. I do want to say this. The courage that it takes as a show to have a scene with two characters doing nothing and saying nothing for a long period of time.
Vienna guy wasn't quiet.
Oh no, that's not
Sterling.
that's not the quiet guy. It's Sterling. You're right.
The other guy doesn't
Yeah,
shut
that's-
up and wants
yeah,
a million babies.
Correct.
And Fran is like, I would like to have some peace in my body
Yes.
at some point in my life.
Yep. Sorry, that's my fault.
Yeah, it's okay. But yes, you're saying
But
it to
the
have these
courage
two
that
characters.
it takes to write that in and to direct it and to act it, just for two people to just stare out and not even show their faces. It's showing the back of them, for a good 10 seconds. That is an eternity in television time.
Especially in Bridgerton, where it is big and fanciful and colorful and dancing and pop music covers.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a complete change visually, in audio, in every single bit of language that the show has established. It is a complete change. And I quite like that. I quite like that because it highlights Francesca as her own character, and as her own texture, and what we could potentially expect from those two. Really cool stuff. Really cool stuff.
Okay, I just gotta say it. Brimsley's hat in this episode is one of the most epic
ridiculous.
hats. He's climbing up. He's introducing Francesca to the Marquis, and once again, I made you watch it 5 times because I was like,
Yes.
"Look at Brimsley's hat," and Blake was looking at someone completely different.
Yeah, it did totally.
And he's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Brimsley, he's the one walking with the completely outrageous hat. Not only does the Queen have a wonderfully whimsical wig for the balloon, but Brimsley's hat was on another level."
Oh, total another level. It was fantastic. It was glorious, that hat. The only thing that would have made it better is if Cressida was wearing that hat.
Yes, Cressida and Brimsley need to have some time together.
Mary, one last thing that I want to talk about is the Mondriches. How do you feel about this idea? About these two? Because again, we've talked about how these two represent like us poors and how we would feel if we were going into the ton. And I love that rule where she's like, "Do we have to go to this thing?" And he says, "What's the rule?" And she says, "We don't got to do anything we don't want to do," or so, whatever it is. But then
That's how she would say it if she was from Boston.
yeah, it's true. Good point, Mary.
Your
We don't
cousin
gotta do
from
anything we don't want to
Boston.
do. What did you even say? I don't
We don't got to do anything we don't want to do. At the end of the episode, however, we finally have some sort of conflict that is brewing, right? That is, well, hey, Will, you can't work here if you're going to be part of the ton.
Yeah, you can't come out on our hunt and be working here. What I liked about
No, go ahead, go.
What I liked about it is that they had another man with darker skin say this to him.
Yes.
Shondaland is very careful with how they're doing Bridgerton and the Bridgerton verse, and having this still be a relatively new thing of having the ton be mixed with
Yes.
different races. We got to learn that in Queen Charlotte. And so I liked that it didn't have the depth of conversations that maybe Lady Danbury has with Simon.
Yep.
Or that Lady Danbury has with the Queen. But that's another level that I took from it too.
Sure.
From this conversation, not just that, hey, we're the ton, we're not supposed to work, but because of the person that they had say it to him.
Sure.
I thought that was also impactful.
Subtext.
Yes. So I thought that was a really interesting thing. And it makes sense, but it also makes sense that he misses working. This was a really important thing. This was also a big dream of his to
Yep.
be able to do all this time. But I appreciate where this gentleman, I don't know his name, the one that spoke with him.
Whatever.
But I appreciate where he's saying, you know, if you do this, the ton in general might be expected to work.
Sure.
But also, yeah, the extra subtext that I had there was it took a lot for the ton to be, you know, blended into.
And you're not going to go ahead and ruin this.
Yeah.
Like,
So
it ain't going to be you.
yeah, I just thought that I don't love the Mondrich's storyline. I don't love Benedict's storyline, because I said his name right at least. I don't. But I'm not saying I hate them, and I'm not saying I'm not going to eventually love them. I
Sure.
know that there's subplots, so it's there. Am I interested by it? Meh. Would I care if it was taken out right now? No. I know there are people who love their storyline right now. And like you, they're saying, like, you're saying this is so interesting to see what it was like for people who quickly were thrust into society.
Sure. Well, and now you also have to start considering, okay, what does this do to their relationship? And does this obstacle, right, does this obstacle make things more interesting for the Mondriches?
I'm interested to see if husband and wife differ in their opinions. If wife is saying, listen, man, let's not work. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yes. If that tension in the family, which has been like such a beautiful relationship that we've had, this 2.5 episodes where it's like, or seasons where it's like, this is the rock solid foundation, like Mr. and Mrs. Bridgerton, and then the Mondriches are like the ideal marriages. If they're able to have conflict where she's saying, I don't want to lose this, stop going.
Yeah.
Yes, we can do whatever we want, but if this is a hard line, like,
Then,
let's secure this for our family, you know? So that would be a very interesting thing. That's where I'll be interested.
Yeah, and that tough choice is going to force these people to make a choice, right? That line, they will have to do something about this situation. And the same thing can be said about Penelope and what is going to eventually have to be a choice between Colin and Lord Devlin. I think the show has done the right thing by making Lord Devlin a viable suitor, someone that, you know, she actually is interested in, someone that actually watches out for her, that gives the lemonade, and she likes that. There's nothing worse than a show or a movie or whatever giving you a set of circumstances, right? And you finally come to a fork in the road, and you have to make a choice as a character, right? You're always going to take the good choice. You're never going to take the bad choice, right? In this moment, in this instance, both are pretty good choices, but both have their down points as well. It's going to be a real choice between Colin and Lord Devlin. We all know that it's going to be Colin, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, knowing that this is a viable choice for Penelope and what that looks like.
Yeah, I'm pumped for her.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. It is time for some listener feedback.
Yes, let's do it. Okay.
Kicking things off, we actually had an email, correct?
Yes.
This email is from Anna from Perth, Western Australia. I can't do an Australian accent, so I'm not going to. Dearest Gentle Mary and
We haven't
Blake,
watched enough Bluey yet.
I was going to phone, but I had too much to say. I already deleted half the notes I wrote. Firstly, I wanted to appreciate the contrast between the Bridgerton and Featherington family dynamics. At the beginning, with Penelope's look at her sisters and their husbands eating grapes, I could feel her. Oh, this is for the previous episode.
Yeah.
I could feel her internal eye roll. Such a contrast to the Bridgertons and their family games later in the episode and their loving banter. This will be wonderful for Penelope when they're married. I agree, but I gotta say, oh God, what's his name? Mr. I like one of the brothers-in-law. I really do.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Begins with an F.
Yeah.
The sweet little one.
It's
They're both sweet. The one that didn't, kiss in this episode.
Right.
The one that didn't know to take his pants off. She says, I loved Pollen talking about Whistledown, and it made me squirm to think about what will happen when the inevitable ish hits the fan. Will it be pre or post-wedding? Ooh. Francesca had me distracted because she looks exactly like the original Belle at the end of Beauty and the Beast in the yellow dress with a hairstyle and hairline.
It's true.
I will henceforth refer to her as Belle. I can't unsee it. I love that Lady Bridgerton brings cello guy to Belle and then quietly sneaks away. Mamas must have so much fun during their debut daughter's first season. I was upset by Colin and his dalliances with the hoes, as Marcelly would say, but I guess it's realistic for a bachelor. Even so, I found myself yelling at the TV, no, Colin, look at what you've already got. A female friend who says, I will be embarrassed because I know you, then practicing to charm suitors, might as well be confessing her love right then and there. If you are just friends, you wouldn't be embarrassed. But if you are into someone, you would. And following this up with the blue eyes comment and the hand bandaging, she's right there, dude. I was impressed with Cressida in this episode. I never thought I would say that, but kudos to her for not taking advantage of Eloise' gossip, and shame on Eloise for so thoughtlessly providing it. She should have known better, and Cressida was right to point out Eloise's hypocrisy in accusing her.
All right.
The scene that had me giggling the most was, of course, the Featherington girls and Lady Featherington. Insert himself. Where? Oh, dear, Lady Featherington. Seems you did not do the education very well. That's why you are being punished over and over.
Quick time out. May I present to you what this guy calls a lamp? No. Best line of the whole episode.
She just walks away.
And she smiles and walks away. No.
Blake has laughed. The reason that I was shocked that Portia has not taken over the Benedict lead in your heart is that Portia makes Blake laugh out loud, belly roll, to I have to pause the episode and rewind it for him 3 times.
That scene right
because
there.
Of Portia.
No. That's the best.
Anna says a few more quick notes. I'm loving the musical covers so far. Great to see inclusivity, including a first deaf character and then a suitor in a wheelchair. It was good for Penelope. Oh, it was good what Penelope wrote about herself and Colin's arrangement as Lady Whistledown. As long as she doesn't write too much or too little about herself, she should be all right. Except we all know that bubble will probably burst soon. I partially can't wait and partially cringe at the thought. That's it from me, Mary and Blake. Sorry so long. I really look forward to hearing all your thoughts, says Anna from Perth.
Well, thank you, Anna. I'm glad we're on the same page about Cressida. I'm just gonna throw that out.
Good for
there.
you. Love that for you. Our friends at jointhenerdclan.com wrote in. What'd they say, Blake?
Alison Kitching said about the previous episode, because remember we're doing
Catching
the
up.
previous episodes. Okay, she says overall I loved absolutely everything with the Featherington sister and Lady Featherington. The looks they give each other were priceless. I was a bit confused when Penelope told Colin that Lady Whistledown had to report the news of their arrangement, or it would have been suspicious if she hadn't. Maybe that was just the foreshadowing to him finding out later in episodes, but he didn't question it at the time. Remember, this is me now saying this. Remember, I think that the way that he finds out is either something that she writes or it's something that she says. This is probably one of those things laying down that track. Just throwing that out there. I didn't love Colin's threesome. It seemed out of nowhere, really, and I don't think that I needed it. Looking so much to hear what both of you think. Thank you for all what you do. Jim says, what a kiss. Fantastic episode. Can't wait for the next. I just wanted to hear your opinions on the idea of each Bridgerton siblings pair parallels or foils another. Suffered under the responsibility of being suffered under the suffered under the responsibility under why can I not read? Anthony suffered under the responsibility of being the Viscount, while Benedict gets to be the community bike, and Eloise and Francesca both dislike being out in society, but Eloise actively fought it while Francesca just wants to get it over with.
Caitlin Spencer wrote in about the previous episode, giving it 5 cups of tea. Her good was Philippa Featherington. Or was it this one? No, it was the last one. And says himself, where? The best line. Her bad was honestly the queen picking Francesca as a sparkler seemed forced. I don't know. It just didn't make sense, says Caitlin.
Fair enough.
And her great was she has 2. First was the kiss, more specifically the dialogue before it when Colin said, you would have already been dead. Her second great was Benedict. I love him. He cracks me up. His woman in line packs remind her of Harry Potter and Goblet of Fire. Just finished the book and cannot wait for Benedict's season.
You're a wizard, Harry.
This one comes from Michelle Melville. She says this about the current episode. Lord Bridgerton, I am in awe of your heroism. She said she couldn't resist.
The quaff.
By the way, we're playing the game, Mary and I, and I have a theory. Well,
Okay.
I'll save it for later.
Yeah.
Jim says, I once read a quote somewhere that went along the lines of, to be loved is to be understood. And I think that matches Francesca perfectly in that scene with Lord Kilmartin is his name. As the youngest of 8, I can understand Francesca's need to have 5 minutes of silence and meeting someone who can instantly understand and simply exist with you. It's just magic. Also, this episode had many callbacks to season 1, like starting with a dream sequence or a slow-mo close-up on someone eating something. Molly says at jointhenerdclan.com, the continued Featherington air race, that was her good. The bad was the balloon basket, couldn't have moved any slower if they tried. Penelope had 2 lifetimes to move, LOL. And the great was Mama Bridgerton knowing exactly what's going on with Colin and watching him beeline straight to Penelope after he got the courage to ask.
Two Fish, Four Birds on Instagram says, I love the story building we're continuing to get, expanding several storylines from season 2. Other than the slight nod to social commentary on New Money, I am really not invested in the Mondrich storyline and fast forward through it on every rewatch. I also fast forward through Colin raking about the continent and think it's a cheap setup to A, show character development, and B, eventually set him apart from his brothers and comrades. I agree with Mary's take on the apology and that Penelope had publicly roasted Colin as Whistledown. I find it believable that her ragging him like that was cathartic enough not to drag it out. The absolute best through line from season 2 is the Featherington story and needing to produce an heir. And said himself, where? Will live rent-free in my head for a long time. Also, that kiss at the end, yep, locked and loaded for the carriage scene. But whatever that means. I love that everyone loves the line, insert some self-wear.
I know, it's great. It's good stuff.
Like, that would also be a great shirt, but
That's a great shirt, actually.
I
Inserts
mean-
himself. Where?
but you need to have like the hair or something.
Yeah, you gotta have
okay.
you gotta have her face on
You'll
it.
figure it out.
Yeah, I'll figure that out.
All right, Secret Spinsters says, I'm here for the humor that the Featheringtons are bringing this season, but also enjoying the different iterations of mother-daughter relationships across the series.
Absolutely.
Yes, we've, of course, got the Bridgertons, we've got the Cowpers, we've got the Featheringtons.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, scribbling prediction time for me. You ready?
Yes.
Here we go. All right, so this isn't necessarily about the plot of the show, but it's just something that I've noticed.
Okay, Blake.
Okay, it's something that I've noticed. Colin has 2 different hairstyles in this season. It's like curly and kind of floppy, and then it's like super coiffed
Okay.
and super straight. And my theory is that when it's super coiffed and straight, that was when they did like pickups after after they did the original shooting, and like the flopsy mopsy hair is when they first did the real shooting, like the first principal photography, right?
Okay.
And then I started to notice that when they show scenes of like clearly it was all shot at the same time of like flopsy mopsy hair, your girl Eloise does not have a cast. They're not covering her cast. However, when Colin has the straight hair, the coiffed hair, she's got a cast. So I'm telling you, there's a direct correlation here. When it's straight coiffed hair, cast. When it's flopsy mopsy hair, no cast. Just throwing that out there.
Okay, well, that's exciting.
It's just another layer for you to
People
explore.
can also have different hairstyles.
I agree, but it's consistent.
Okay,
It's consistent.
good.
So
Thanks, Blake. You keep at it, detective.
I love that for you, Blake.
Yes.
All right, you ready to close this bad boy out?
Yeah.
Let's get it done.
Thank you all so incredibly much for tuning into this episode of Bridgerton. As I said in the beginning, Blake and I are going to be very busy this summer, continuing to bring you the best of Bridgerton coverage, as well as House of the Dragon, The Rings of Power,
Yes.
Outlander later this in the fall. We are going to have a trailer reaction. So our Outlander friends, don't you worry, Outlander cast will be having a trailer reaction, and Potterverse will be sprinkling in because we're very busy podcasting.
Yes.
We are very excited for the rest of this season of Bridgerton. We will be having coverage of episode 4 very quickly. So if you're getting this on the day of release, stay tuned. Make sure you're on that text list because we'll let you know when we're going live.
It's going to be burning
with
up.
episode 4. Exactly. Exactly. On that note, thank you to our friends at jointhenordclaim.com for honestly making all of this possible. You have no idea the impact that you have made in our lives the past few years. So thank you, whether you are a new patron or if you've been with us all along. We appreciate you, and listeners all around the world appreciate you for making this content possible.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Go to maryandblake.com. Check out all the other great podcasts that we have going on over there, whether it is For the Last Kingdom, or it is This Is Us 2, or it is The Leftovers. I mean, we got so many different
everything.
shows. We got everything there. It never ends. So maryandblake.com. Check that out there.
My name is Mary.
My name is Blake.
Go out there and brew some tea.